Hey everyone, it's Nick, aka Sushi, back for part 2 of What's Wrong with MapleStory. I'm glad the discussion I brought up in part 1 about gear progression was so well received in terms of making you guys think and discuss about the content that Nexon has actually given us in the past couple of years. I was going to save the topic that I'm talking about today for the last video of the series, but after seeing the feedback from part 1, I decided to push this one forward. This video's topic is going to be Nexon America, the company. Now, just like most of my opinion videos, I'm going to preface this by saying I am not just trying to bash the GMs, I am not just trying to bash the game. I genuinely care about this game, and I would like to be genuinely cared about as a player. These are my thoughts and concerns as a player of MapleStory, or an ex-player of MapleStory at this point, that I feel are things that are completely unreasonable things to put up with by the publisher of your game. Publisher is someone that takes a build of a game and localizes it for the area they are trying to market to, monetizes it, and releases it to an audience. Nexon does not make MapleStory. Wizit makes MapleStory. Nexon markets, monetizes, and sells MapleStory. The main topic of today is Nexon America as a publisher and the way they handle their player interaction. I'm not going to get into the community or their events. So those aren't things that I'm going to bitch about. Those are things that I've learned to accept and that the community even gets excited for. Every time there's a miracle time, everyone goes out and grabs their parents' money and goes fucking ham, and they love every second of it. So hell, I'm not going to bash them for taking your money if you enjoy giving it to them. The thing that I'm going to talk about mostly is their player engagement and their player support. And I don't just mean the time and speed that they reply to support tickets. That's completely reliant on how many people they have working and how many tickets they get a day. What I'm going to talk about is how GMs are actually allowed to help their players. Here's an example. Say I'm starring my Tyrant Cape. Sushi's Tyrant Cape is 10 stars right now. I have a stack of no booms and a stack of normal AEEs in my inventory. I throw a Guardian Scroll on my cape, and then I think that I throw a no boom on my cape, but then my cape blows up because I clicked on the wrong scroll. I panic. I go open a support ticket telling them exactly what happened, and they're going to tell me the exact same thing every time. I'm sorry, but there's nothing we can do to help you. That is insane to me. If I dropped my item on accident in Terra, hell, if I dropped my item on purpose in Terra and submitted a ticket saying that I dropped it on accident, do you know what would happen? They'd put it back in my inventory in less than a day. Because why wouldn't they? Now, before we get into the whole, that's not MapleStory, you're comparing it to a different game, blah, 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 the main question I want to ask is this. If I play a free game that doesn't require money to roll the potential on my item, and they would give it back to me for free because of a simple mistake, but if I spend hundreds of dollars to perfect a piece of gear in MapleStory, they're not willing to help me out to get it back. And so we need to ask ourselves, why not? Are they not capable of checking your account's actions to see if your story is true? Are they not capable of rolling your account back so you can have it again? Are they not willing to give it back because they want you to spend money to remake it? Why isn't the happiness of their customer number one priority? Why aren't you being happy the number one thing that they need to keep a constant? Why is protecting the system from being able to be abused higher priority than helping the players that get abused by the system? This next example isn't going to be a theoretical one. It's going to be a true story that happened to one of my friends. On New Year's Eve of 2013, I want to say, going into 2014, I think, there was a dupe that was released on Gamersoul that involved mushy splitting and two characters. And it worked, and it was really easy to do, and everyone started abusing it. Everybody. People were dropping Nebulites and Hennisons, people were selling and finishing all of their gear by making hundreds of no booms. It was really easy to do. Now, people that abused it, people that bought mushies during that time, were banned. and everyone else that they thought had interacted with the items were hellbanned. And so when my friend John logged on the next day, he found himself to be hellbanned and really confused because he didn't touch anybody's items. But what John had been doing is that for the 4 months prior to this coming out, he was buying out all the no-booms in Renegade's marketplace. He wanted to get enough tyrants to sit down and do all of his gear at once. So he had about a dozen no-booms in his inventory. And not knowing why he was hellbanned, just continued to play. A couple weeks later, they deleted every no-boom on his account. And he submitted a ticket, letting them know, I had those no-booms in my account before the dupe, and you can check my account to see if I interacted with anyone that did a dupe. My scrolls are completely legit. Can I please have them back? And they told him that they couldn't give him the scrolls back, that he had an abnormally high amount of scrolls in his inventory, and that they would compensate him 25k in X. Now let's get this right. They just told him they weren't going to check to see if his scrolls were on his account prior to the dupe, or if he had interacted with anyone who did the dupe to get them. They just told him, here's 25k Maple points, fuck yourself. And he quit the game, because why would you continue playing a game that just took hundreds of dollars worth of items from you, told you they weren't going to look into it, and then gave you 25k in X? If they thought you were guilty, why would they give you 25k in X? If they thought you were guilty, why wouldn't they ban your account? Why would they take away items from a seemingly innocent person without proving that they did anything wrong? This next example might be one that some of you are familiar with. The YouTube streamer and YouTuber Basic Beck was recently wrongfully banned while she was meso farming on her Xenon. Someone reported her for botting, and a game master whispered her in game. She had a chat bug, which happens to a lot of us, which allowed her to not be able to talk back to him. The GM then teleported her to a white map, and she tried to let him know that she was there and not a bot by turning on the Xenon Fly skill and flying around the map. She took a screenshot while she was doing this, and she ended up getting banned anyway. When she submitted a ticket and went to live chat, they told her to wait for whatever day it is that you can go for ban appeals. And so she came back on that day and explained to the GM her side of the story and presented the evidence that she was in fact at her computer at the time. And they told her that they would not revoke her ban, which meant not only that she would have to wait out a 2-week wrongful ban, but that all of her characters would be permanently off the rankings, making all of her achievements and levels look illegitimate. And this is terrible. The fact that there's even a ban system that is involved in having to whisper a GM back after they say something to you blows my mind. So many people of this game don't play with their chat bar open. So many people of this game play this game while they're doing other things where their attention isn't 100% staring at their chat bar. It got to the point where we were getting reported so much grinding when we were in X-Kissable's 250 party that we would have our chat full screened and have someone always be looking at it. We grinded in fear of accidentally not being able to see a GM whisper, and that's fucking terrible. The fact that the ban system even revolves around that is so stupid, on top of the chat system being incredibly broken, being the way that you prove your innocence. And then when you go to the customer support page and you try to prove your innocence there, one, they're not allowed to discuss anything about your ban with you for some reason. So there's no transparency there. If you tell them your side of the story, it doesn't mean anything to them. And 3, even if you give them proof of you being there, they won't undo your ban. So it comes down to, at any given moment, you can fuck up and Nexon won't help you. Someone else can abuse the game and you'll get items taken away from it. And at any given moment while you're grinding, you could be mistaken for someone hacking and there's nothing you can do about it. You can just be banned. Those are things that a player should never have to worry about in a game. When you're playing a game, the only thing you should have to worry about is having fun, is enjoying yourself, is making progress. You shouldn't have to worry that the publisher of your game is so bad at their job that they just might fuck you out of wanting to play it. In the end, it just comes down to not being able to trust Nexon. We as players that put our time and money into this game deserve a publisher that will go out of its way to help us. We deserve a publisher that wants to help us. We deserve a publisher that makes sure that no one is unjustly punished. We deserve a publisher that can be transparent with us and talk to us about things that are happening with our own accounts. We deserve a publisher that cares about us as individual players of the game. We should be more important than getting a cape back. We should be more important than getting a stack of no booms back. We should be more important than possibly taking off someone illegitimate off the rankings. Because those things happening to an innocent person is worse than 10 people getting away with it. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in part 3.